Also, George Groves will be doing the punditry on Sky. No doubt he'll be watching this fight with a keen eye. Potentially he could be in the mix to fight one of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's now mandatory for the WBC. I think he'll get that shot probably next summer or something like that. So he's going to have to wait a little bit, but I think he'll be looking to get out again, probably at the end of the year or even early next year.
Do you think DeGale will still have that belt by next summer?
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll have a standard voluntary defence in November or something like that, and then Calla and George have got to push to make sure they get the shot next. So, you know, it's a 75-25 split. Might actually be 70-30 with the BC and number one. So, but it's likely that DeGale, I believe he's with Al Heyman, they're not going to travel. They're just not. You know, we had the same thing with Sean Porter. We offered him huge money to come. They just don't want to travel. But I'm sure Georgie will be up for going to America and fighting DeGale, and you know, hopefully he can bring it home.
Any movement on the Quigg-Frampton situation? Has anything developed?
I don't know what's going on. I've emailed the McGuiggans for a meeting. I've had no reply. And now all the correspondence regarding Avalos seems to be going through Samson Leskovic, who used to be with Kiko Martinez, and he's negotiating. So I don't know. I didn't think they had options, but I don't know whether they did have options or Leskovic is now representing Frampton. I don't know. It's messy, but no one's been in touch. No one's got back to me to make that fight, which is disappointing. Because
is that
again,
a priority to make that fight?
Of course. I mean, look, it's a priority to make the kids as much money as possible. You know, I believe it can be a pay-per-view fight on Sky. They can't make any money like this anywhere else. So someone's not doing their job right. You know, it's annoying. It is really annoying.
BELLEW cleverly.
Yeah, we got that one away.
I'm hearing now potentially there's going to be a press conference in Liverpool and a press conference in Cardiff. Am I allowed to say this?
On the same day.
On the same day.
Correct. It's another exclusive.
Wow.
Next Wednesday, probably around 12:30, 1 o'clock, we'll be in Liverpool, and then it's big convoy down to Cardiff for an evening press conference with the fans, both open to the public.
Fantastic.
Both going to be absolutely brilliant. And obviously just determining the date now, whether we go on the 22nd or the 29th, you know, which we discussed the other day. Obviously since our interview, you know, the announcement that the Billy Joe Saunders and Chris EUBANK fight was never signed, which is annoying because obviously if that fight's not done, I'll probably just go on the 29th, you know, and probably more annoying for the fans. You know, a fight goes on sale and tickets are on sale. People are buying tickets for a fight that's actually not even signed. So again, look, that's not my business. We do things properly, and other people do things their way. But
interesting card, isn't it?
Which one?
The cleverly BELLEW card.
Yeah, well, there's only one fight at the moment.
There's more fights.
Oh, there are. Yeah, I mean, look, we want to add Jamie McDonnell, who defend his world title. We want to add Scott Quigg. You know, there's a couple of other big domestic lightweight fights we're looking at. Joshua against Froch. Like to get Crawler a world title fight on there as well. James DeGale might also be out on the card. You know, maybe even George Groves. There's so much going on at the moment. Like different things affect different things, if that makes sense. You know, and Froch is even a big part of that as well, because if he fights Kessler, maybe DeGale will be in a big fight in Liverpool, and if Froch fights DeGale, you know, obviously he won't be on in Liverpool, and it's this massive chess game, you know, that he's boxing. But you know, we won't be making any announcements until they're actually done.
Okay. What do you think the public would rather see? Carl Froch defend against James DeGale, or Carl Froch versus Mikhail Kessler? Free.
You know what you're going to get with Carl Froch against Mikhail Kessler? You know, the styles blend beautifully. It's the war to settle the score, isn't it? 1-1, two of the best fights I've seen. The third fight would be no different. I guess with DeGale, it's about the fascination. You know, is he ready? Is he the real deal? Stylistically, he's probably more awkward for Froch than Kessler. It is a big fight. We know how big domestic fights are. I'd like to see that fight. He is the mandatory, so you're also dealing with that as well.
Can Carl have a voluntary, as he's taken to?
He can, up until the end of the year. Then he'll have to ask for an exemption. But the date that we've got is 31st of January. So he's only asking for a 31-day exemption with the IBF. So my gut feeling is it'll be granted, having faced 2 back-to-back mandatories in George Groves. You know, one the first time and then a mandated rematch for the second. So I think he'd be allowed to have a voluntary, yeah. But you know, Carl's in that awkward position where he probably deserves sort of a standard voluntary, if you like. But the public have just come to accept that Carl Froch doesn't do standard voluntaries. You know, he'd probably been within his rights now to just pull someone out of the top 15 and say, listen, let's just do a real nice night, you know, a celebration for me, maybe my last fight in the UK. But people are brutal now. And with this social media environment that we live in, there's no hiding. You know, if it's shit, and you'll be told it's shit. Do you know what I mean?
Back to my initial question, what do you think the public would rather see out of those 2 fights?
I think they'd rather see James DeGale against Carl Froch. I think it's very close because they're 2 really good fights. But I think the time the fights come around, I think they'd prefer the DeGale fight because it will build and it will grow, and it is 2 Brits and it's a former Olympic gold medalist. I don't think an Olympic gold medalist has ever won a world title from the UK before, so he's looking to make his own piece of history. And he may not be able to step up against Carl Froch, or he might be the real deal and he might beat him. But it's that fascination.
What show are you most excited about coming up this year?
I've got to say, I'm really excited about Leeds next week, to be honest with you, because Josh Warrington might have something very, very special. One, as a talented fighter, he's only 22, British Commonwealth, hopefully European champion. But you know, he's sold close to 2,000 tickets personally.
That's incredible.
And I've never seen a ticket seller of that size before. And you know, we've worked with some big ticket sellers, Darren Barker back in the day, Kevin Mitchell, even Tommy Coyle, you know, Luke. But these are 4, 5, 6, 7, 800s. These are about 2,000. And the atmosphere in Leeds next week, I think, will be one of the best atmospheres I've seen. So that's something I'm looking forward to. Obviously, O2, Joshua's first title fight, and definitely Selby against Brunker is a great fight. I'm really looking forward to Hull. You know, Katsidis against Coyle. It's a wonderful fight. And Campbell against Brisweiler. It's a proper step up. Now we find out what he's made of. BELLEW cleverly, obviously. I mean, there's so much to look forward to. You know, and you've got to keep your head, stick to a strategy. It's just like in life, if you do things right, you'll be rewarded and you'll get there. You know, and that's the sort of ethos that we work to. Everything straight down the line. We try and be as transparent as possible. Sometimes we have to tell people things they don't want to hear, but that's life. But we're straight up and we work hard, and morally and ethically we're 100%. So again, life should be quite simple. Go out, work as hard as you can, and you'll get the results.
Is there any truth in the rumour that you've signed David HAYE, or will be signing David HAYE?
No, not really. I mean, well, I don't know if we will be signing David HAYE. I've spoke to him. Certainly be interested to work with him. Worked with him before, signed up, and we were to do the Char fight, and also involved when he fought Fury. So we've got that link already there. He's still a big name. So you know, if he wanted to work with us, yeah, sure. And I'm sure those talks are ongoing. And you know, rumours that he's talking to Al Heyman, but I'm happy to work with Al Heyman. You know, Al Heyman's an advisor; he's not a promoter. So we'll see. You know, I mean, there's lots of people, interesting people to add to the team at the moment.
Who interests you the most at the moment?
Well, David HAYE interests me. Chris EUBANK Jr. interests me. Quite a few fighters in America interest me as well. You know, some amateurs will turn over at some point. You know, great Commonwealths we had. Some great young fighters after the Olympics will definitely. No, who's that? Just say that we're tied up sorting these gloves out, and we'll try and get down there later. But now I've told that lie, it's on here.
just thinking of it.
Yeah, I know. So. Yeah, there's always, you know, listen, we've got a huge team, but when real quality comes along, you know, we're obviously interested to talk. So we get approached, and again, not sitting here sounding like Billy Big Balls, but we get approached by a dozen fighters a week. I mean,
what, top level fighters?
Top level fighters, fighters looking to turn pro, fighters starting out their careers, and not just fighters, managers, advisors, you know. But we're the place to be, you know. And I think virtually everyone would acknowledge that, whether you like us or not, you know. And we're in a great position, and you know, we've got the Sky deal, and would we be in this position without the Sky deal? Probably not. But we've got it, and that's the basis of being a powerful promoter and providing opportunities for your fighters, is having a great broadcaster behind you who is committed to you, your fighters and the sport.
Do you feel as if you've got the golden ball at the moment?
I feel like I've got the golden balls, not just one. Listen, I don't take anything for granted. We're in a great position, we've got a wonderful team of fighters, but things change, you know. Yes, we're exclusive to Sky for another 2 years, and I'm sure that'll be 5 and 10, but you never know, you know. We're in a wonderful position for the next 2 years, but again, I really don't take anything for granted. I work as hard tomorrow as I did today, because if you take your eye off the ball, you know, you're going to come unstuck, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge. You know, I enjoy it. This business, you have to sleep with one eye open, you know, and I love that. I love the challenge, I love the chess match, I love the strategy, I love the glory. In a sick way, sometimes the pain makes the glory even better. But it takes a lot out of you. You know, you're on it non-stop. Being away from the family is hard. Late nights, dealing with America and drama and stress, but at the moment, I love it. I can't tell you I'm going to love it in 10 years. I just don't know. I've always said, the minute I stop loving it, I'll walk away, because I'm a salesman, and when you're selling a product you don't believe in anymore, or you're not emotionally attached to anymore, you can't sell it in the same way. And you'll know that quite quickly, because you just lose the buzz, you know. But the problem is, it's like any buzz, you want more, you want more, you want more. You know, so we did Wembley, that was the buzz of all buzzes. I want more. What you got for me? Kell Brook goes and wins the world title in California on Showtime. Oh, that's given me, you know, that buzz. That's done now. What else you got for me? Paul Smith changes for the world title in Germany. Great. That's over. What else you got for me? You know, a wonderful atmosphere in Leeds. You know, oh, great. What you got? Joshua's first title fight. Wow. What you got now? You've got 2 fighters in Hull stepping up in massive fights. Great. You know, what you got now? Now you've got a massive domestic fight in BELLEW and Cleveland. Oh, so you have to feed that addiction to the buzz. Now, I live for those nights. I live for the buzz. I don't live there to sit there in a soulless hall to watch a shit fight. So, you know, I try and make the biggest fights possible. But one thing's for sure, what the fans will always get from me is a willingness to make the biggest fights possible, and to earn the fighters as much money as possible to be in those fights. And I think that's what the fighters like, because they want to be in those big fights. And I'm keen to make them. They don't always come off, but hopefully more come off than don't. And you know, we're seeing a nice trend now of fights that come off. But again, from our side, I'd love to announce 5 or 6 fights that I'm working on at the moment. But until they are done, signed, sealed and delivered, they will not be announced, and they certainly won't be available to buy tickets for, because that's what's going to kill the sport of boxing. Letting fans down, and fans will lose faith in the sport.
In your opinion, what are the 3 biggest fights that could be made involving British fighters in 2015, Eddie?
Brooke Khan. I'm going to sort of go a little bit on a tangent here. So Brooke Khan, Froch DeGale, and then, you know, I mean, again, this is all if. But if Groves won a world title, Groves DeGale, Groves Froch, the winner, you know, all those sort of roundabout fights. Now, there's other fights that, you know, Rocky Fielding against one of the Smiths. I think it's got the potential to set light, you know. Lee Selby, I believe, will win a world title. Lee Selby against Josh Warrington. Tommy Coyle against Luke Campbell in Hull. You know, Frampton against Quigg, obviously. Massive fight. Joshua against David HAYE, Joshua against Tyson Fury, Joshua against David Price.
Will you be willing to put Joshua in with these kind of people?
100% next year, yeah, 100%.
Next year?
Right. I mean, he's going to fight on October the 11th, then he'll box in Liverpool, and that's him done. After that, we're ready for all those. You know, but they're massive pay-per-view. I mean, look, Joshua at the right time against a Fury, I mean, that could be a Wembley fight if the time's right. You know, so many great fights. You know, obviously I want to get Crawler a world title, I want to get Mitchell a world title. Maybe they'll fight each other. You know, that's another great fight.
Crawler's done everything you've asked him.
He has, and it's frustrating. You know, and I will deliver it for him. One way or the other, I'll get Crawler a world title. But you know, don't feel too sorry for him because he's been in big fights for big money as well. So, and he's been active. You know what I mean? So we've done our part. Now we've got to deliver the world title shot. He hasn't gone down the route of final eliminators to become a mandatory to force the shot because these big domestic fights were there for big money for him. So, you know, you have to think about, after a while, if the world title shot's not there, do you have a final eliminator? And maybe that's the case, but I want to get Abril over for the fight and I'm confident of doing so.
Do you think Anthony Joshua's got the potential to be the biggest star in British boxing next year?
I think Anthony Joshua's got the potential to be the biggest star in British boxing ever. I mean, ability-wise, personality-wise, looks-wise, aura. You know, you've been around him, James. You know, he's a remarkable personality, and people haven't even seen the real Anthony Joshua yet. I mean, you see it a little bit on Coogan stuff with him.
Yeah.
He's very funny, quite childish at times, very humble, very driven, very intense, deep thinker, studies, you know. But he's just got it all, you know. Anthony Joshua's got it all, and I think we've got so many great fighters. You know, Joshua is right up there, and you know he can change the face of boxing. You know, that's how big I think he can be. I think boxing needs role models. You know, young kids need to go to the gym wanting to be someone, and I think Anthony Joshua is someone that young kids will go to the gym wanting to be like, and that's how you grow the sport. Just like golf with Tiger Woods. You know, kids wanted to be like Tiger Woods. And they had all the gear, they went down, you know. Kids need David Beckham, the same, you know. Kids wanted to be Beckham. They wear his boots, they wear his kit. They even do their hair like him. That's what you need with Anthony Joshua, you know. And that's what you need with a lot of young fighters coming through. Callum Smith, Luke Campbell. Now these are the future of the sport who can be role models, not just in their towns, but across the country for young kids. And we want to try and grow the sport of boxing at grassroots as well. Feel so strongly about what it can deliver for the youth and what it can do for the community. But you need role models to show that. And you can't just listen to some old fat promoter going, listen son, it's really good for you to get down at gym and it's great for discipline and respect. You need someone that they can associate with, you know, like a Joshua, like a Campbell, like a Callum Smith, and say, look, this is what boxing did for me. This is what boxing taught me. Let it do the same for you, because I really feel that it's a wonderful sport, you know.
Last but not least, we're going to sign off. Before we sign off, tell me something that you've not told anyone as of yet.
God.
It's a big one.
What, boxing related?
I've gone out, well, hopefully, gone out on a limb here, so. I can see your cogs ticking over.
Yeah, you know what it is, because I was going to say that I had a meeting with Wembley last week and I've provisionally booked June but my phone's off, the battery's gone and the date's on there. I think it's June the 26th. So that's something. What else can I tell you? You get me at the fight tomorrow. I'll come up with something.
Yeah.
The problem is I tell you everything anyway.
I know.
This is what I'm saying about the transparency. Unfortunately, I can't help but tell you. But the media day next week with BELLEW Cleverly is going to be brilliant. And hopefully you guys can get in a convoy with us and do both.
That'd be great.
You know what I mean? So
fantastic.
They've just got to hold it together. Hold it together.
Could go off, couldn't it?
Bad.
Could really
bad.
go off. Really good. It's a fine line between selling a fight.
It is, but I always, you know, I've told Tony 10 times, and I'll tell Nathan the same. Respect the rules, respect the code, and let's sell the fight, but let's not be silly. And I think we'll be all right. I think those two like to debate.
They do.
About what they've done in their careers.
Yeah.
You know, Tony will say, "What about you? You fought him," and Cleverly will go, "Yeah, but you got knocked out by him, and you know, I beat you," and it's like, it's just entertaining to watch.
They're two people that are always going to do what they want to do.
They will, and they're both intelligent, and they're good talkers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're passionate, so it's always great fun to watch.
If you look up the word passion, you will find a little picture of Tony Bell.
You will, you will.
He's just there.
It's going to be an emotional fight. And he's got to be careful not to blow his gasket or to want it too bad. Because we saw against Chilemba, you know, in that first fight, which was shocking, he wanted it so bad. He used so much energy, emotional energy, that he was done by the 5th or 6th round. And you've got to be careful in big fights that you don't do the same. Don't worry about losing your marbles. Wait till the bell goes, and that's when you can use your energy.
All right, Eddie, I thank you for answering my questions so honestly, mate. As I said,
I'm much preferring you to Coogan these days. You know, these
You're
questions.
just digging out Coogan.
No, but he's not. You know, he had the you know, when I said the other day.
What, when you tweeted?
When I tweeted,
yeah,
he went, "You're such a melt." That's what he said. But you know, he's just getting a bit jokey. You know, you're sort of upping your game, but asking more probing, serious questions.
Thank you.
But that's what you need. Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You just don't know which one's who.
Ant and Deck.
Ant and Deck.
Someone said we're the boxing equivalent of the blokes from Wayne's World the other day. That was quite funny.
Garth and Wayne.
You pulled it out of the bag.
Yeah. I think more Kevin and Perry.
Oh, that's
Do you know what I mean?
Thank you, Mr. Eddie, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Mr.
soon.
Patterson.
Thank you, mate.